So, in my opinion, the poor, the very poor people that live here in America, they don't get the same rights. They don't get the same justice as, say, somebody who can afford to pay a bail to get out of a jail. No, they don't. They usually end up sitting in jail and sometimes quite a while, actually, can be even very, very long months and months and years. I don't even know how these people can even do this because most people, by the time you got out, even if you just end up spending a few weeks, you would have no place to live, you would get evicted, you would lose your job, and a lot of people can't show up to court because they can't afford to take a day off of work because they need all the money they can make that they make at their low paying jobs just to pay for food and rent. So they end up not going to court, and then they get warrants out for them, and then they end up spending even more time in jail if they get caught for something stupid. And in case you're not aware of this, there are over 50,000 laws and regulations um, that actually impede on our civil and human rights. I'll repeat myself. There are over 50,000 stupid, ridiculous laws or regulations, let's just call them, that interfere with our critical rights and impede on our ability to provide for ourselves, or they impede on our ability just to live day to day. They are actually called crime, not crime, but quality of life crimes, let's just call them. So, say somebody, just doesn't have the money for, I don't know, a license, I guess. Or like, someone might want to say set up a home business and braid hair, but say they need to get a license to do that and they can't afford it. So maybe they get caught, and maybe that fine turns into, you know, jail time because they can't pay it or something. Just ridiculous things. I'm just giving a ridiculous example. A better example would probably be something like massage, like doing massage without a license. So then, you get arrested for prostitution because you're doing a massage without a license, but that's what the guy wants. That's what, the demand is out there for. You get paid more to do extra things. So yeah, you get the picture. So, yeah, we have a very unfair justice system, in case you're not aware of this, but the US, well, you may be aware of that the US does have more people in prison than any other country in the world. But one of the reasons why that is because we have a system where if you don't have the money to bail yourself out of jail, well, guess what? You're going to sit there, and you're going to sit there for maybe for a very long time before you get a hearing. And yeah, it's like that. And then what makes it even worse is if you can't bail yourself out and you can't hire an attorney, then it's even worse because then you get a public defender and they're not good at all. So I've never had to experience that because I always had the money. Luckily, I was lucky enough to have people at the time to bail me out. And I was lucky enough to have the money to hire good attorneys. So I've been really, really lucky in that way. Um, yeah, because, well, let's just say I don't have a license to do massage. So anyway, not to get off topic, but I'm really hopeful about something that just happened recently. And it only happened like about a week ago. And the new law won't take effect until next year, but at least it is going to happen eventually. It is in all states, it will happen eventually because everything, it seems, always happens first in California. And that is a new bill that was signed into law just last week that's going to end this criminal, you know, thing where you can't get out of jail unless you pay a bail type of thing. It's going to end that. So, in other words, if you get arrested for some like low level, non victim, quality of life crime, say, then they can no longer hold you until you get a bail or go to court. They can no longer do that. So that's great. No longer will they be able to hold you in jail for a nonviolent crime. They will have to release you within the first 12 hours, and then of course you would go back to your hearing. But again, this is only for low level, or this is only for people that have a very low chance of not actually going back to court. So, if you're known for not going back to court, or if it's a violent crime, then no, then you won't be able to get bailed out no matter how much money you have. But for the most part, for most people, they will be able to get out without a bail because most crimes are pretty much victimless. Let's just say most, or any of the crimes that they'll be able to get out for without getting bail will be victimless things, quality of life crimes, that is. So how can that be a crime? Just because you want to better your life, you want to have a better quality of life, how can that be a crime? That's ridiculous. I think that all drugs should be legal and regulated. And I think that all sex work should be decriminalized because that's a sex life. That's your life. You're an adult. That's a private thing. It's your private sex life. If you want to get compensated for it, that's your private business. It's not the state's, it's not the government's, it's not your neighbor's business, it's not the public's business, it's your own damn business. Your sex life should be your own business, nobody else's, and that should be decriminalized. So yeah, I'm so proud of California. So yeah, it's the end of cash bail is what they call it. I think that's great. I think that's a beginning. That's a really good beginning of ending the whole prison industrial complex system that we have here in the US. And I'm so happy that that's finally starting to happen. Take care.